be surprised if a club like United again is like tempted maybe to ask him, if he would like maybe join for a while. On the other hand, I need to say, is he really the player, the number 9 that is going to be bringing United back to the highest level? So it would be a shame to see him go somewhere else and then develop over there and being very important for a different club in the world somewhere.
Okay, today we have a Premier League legend, one of the hard men of the late 90s, early 2000s, and an icon of the Premier League. I remember you very well from back in the day. I'm an Arsenal fan, full disclosure. So whenever I saw you, I knew Arsenal were in for a tough day. But pleasure to have you on board. Thanks for coming today. How are you, first of all?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I'm fine. I just came back from Manchester now, so went to the game yesterday. So it's been an okay game. We can talk about it like that.
We will, yeah. I was there as well in the away end, and quite frankly, lucky to get away with a point in the end, thanks to David Raya.
Exactly. Yeah, he's excellent, isn't he? He's a good goalkeeper. He made some very good saves, especially when he made that save, and then he got back up very quick, and then the reaction was very good for Arsenal's point of view. But for us, well, for United, it was we would like to have the 3 points, of course.
For sure. Let's start off with a question about Ruben Amorim's kind of tactics and his persistence at playing 3 at the back, which I can't remember whether. I presume you must have played in the back 3 during your career. I'm sure you would have. But how do you think? Do you think it's something that should be praised, his persistence, or do you think he deserves some criticism for that? It worked quite well yesterday.
Well, yesterday's second half, they played better, United, compared to the first half. First half, of course, Arsenal were like dominant, and they pushed United back, and Arsenal didn't create a lot of opportunities, but they were a better side. They were like in terms of possession, they were a far better team, of course. Second half, it changed. I think that the 1-0 lead, gave United a bit of confidence as well, which was good. Second half they pushed forward. They were more like on the front foot as well, also going forward, and created by doing so. They created a couple of very good opportunities. But so second half, if you look at the second half, it looked promising. And that's the thing with this United team. We spoke about that for several times, because sometimes when United needs to play big teams and important games, then they can get themselves into a certain focus that they can do well. But it's about being consistent throughout the whole season, of course, and being very important, and for now they still have some difficulty in doing that. But yeah, Amorim is like you're saying, he's very persistent in his setup in playing 3 at the back, while a lot of these players came when Ten Hag was still the manager, play in a 4-3-3 system, which is of course different in build up, and also in putting pressure on the opposition at times as well. And you can see that players find it at times difficult to find their position, to be creative at times as well, and to be used in their strength, if you can call it like that. And they need to get used to this system, and I think that's normal, because that comes with a new manager, and that comes with a new system as well. And sometimes a manager, as a manager, you also need to look at the team. You also need to look at the players that you have, and to use them in the best way. So eventually you can get as many points as you need to maybe eventually make certain changes to go to the system that you want to play.
Yeah,
but he's very persistent in keeping this system up and playing this system. And you can see that sometimes they find it very difficult, and in games that other teams are even dominating against United in possession. And that's what most of the fans and most of, we as like pundits or analysts, we're not used to see that the opposition is dominating. We always want to have United going forward and putting the pressure on the opposition and being dominant themselves to eventually score goals and win as many games as you can, of course.
Do you feel like Matthijs de Ligt has adapted well to the Premier League? Do you think he's part of the reason why Amorim's persisting with this back 3? Because he's been all around Europe now, a very experienced player. Do you think he's been good in his first season? Do you think you expect more from him?
Well, I think Matthijs has always been used to play in a 4.
Yeah.
Maybe at Juventus he played with 3 at the back at times as well. So he has experience in playing with four at the back. He's got experience playing five at the back as well, which is good for him. That can help Amorim as well, you know, in making choices. It's easier if you work with players who are like well known with the system that you're playing as well. Matthijs is a very he's not the youngest anymore. Like we can't call him a talent anymore, can we? Because it looks like he's young, but he's already like 25, is he? So he's you know, so he needs to be one of the players that carries the team or is helping to carry the team to be very important. And you can see in the beginning that, you know, he needed to find his way a little bit at United, but also in the Premier League. But I think he's getting more and more confident in his role that he needs to play. And, you know, I think he's a good defender. I think he's a good centre back. For every centre back, it's also very important that you have the players around you as well that help you out in certain situations.
Yeah.
And for now, it looks like, you know, judging United, that we are sometimes focusing on one player and then saying he's good or he's not good. Well, it's the team that needs to help each other to be better as a player, as an individual as well. And I think Matthijs is well, he's a good player, and I think with the right players around him, that he can be a very, very good player and a very important player for United.
For sure. I mean, United spent big money on Lenny Yoro last summer. He had a bit of a difficult first half and came off at half time, but I suppose De Ligt and Victor Lindelof are players that he will look up to. But do you think Lenny Yoro, what kind of game do you see any of kind of your attributes in him? How do you see his career progressing at United?
Yeah, well, you can see his physically he's very good. You know, he's quite tall. He moves good in terms of, like, you know, he's energetic in his way. He's quick. I think he's difficult to beat in a 1v1 situation as well, with spaces, big spaces that he needs to cover. Yeah, he's still a young player, so he needs to develop. He needs to get better. For him, from what I've seen, and you can see that yesterday a little bit as well, first half, that if he needs to do the build up and he gets the ball in his feet and then he needs to carry that ball up, you know, on the pitch, and he needs to find solution, yeah, then he needs to make better choices at times as well. But then again, you know, the midfield players, are they willing to get in certain positions so he can deliver them that ball as well? So that makes it easier as well, because in the beginning of the game, you can see when he had that ball and he's driving forward, that eventually nobody is asking the ball, and then it's difficult for a centre back, you know, to find the right solution as well. And that doesn't make it easy for a centre, especially for a young guy like he is. But he's got a lot of potential, and you know, with the right manager and with the right people around him, you know, and well, this technical staff as well, they're well, for sure willing to help him out to make him a better player, and the players around him as well, because he's got a lot of potential, I think.
Yeah, for sure. In terms of goal scoring, I think that's maybe one of the areas where United fans are kind of most worried, because, you know, it was a dead ball situation. Great free kick yesterday, but from open play, they still couldn't score. Rasmus Højlund's form maybe is one of the most concerning factors. 2 Premier League goals so far this season. He scores in Europe, but can't really score in the Premier League. Can he turn things around? And is he the long-term solution at the club?
Yeah, that's a difficult one to say if he's the long-term solution. But I think he's and we sometimes forget that he's very young as well. But he is a very good player. Sometimes, if I was him, I would be very annoyed to be on the pitch, because as a striker, you know, you need to have like the delivery as well. So people need to give you the ball at the right times as well. They need to have a look at him, what his position is, to give these crosses in as well. And there's a lot of games that we've played that sometimes he's in the right position, he's in good positions, and they're not like bringing these balls into the box as well for him to have the opportunity to score. And then, like I said before, then there's always people talking about him that he's not scoring, but it's very difficult for him at times as well, that if you're in a good position, you don't get it, then you can't score. So as a number 9, it's very important that the wingers or the wing backs, they put that delivery in and they know where you are. So you eventually have the opportunity, you know, to create an opportunity yourself or to score a goal as well. And that makes it difficult for, I think, for a striker. And that must be frustrating as well. You know, and
living off scraps, isn't he? Really, he's not getting enough opportunities, living off scraps, and then feels that the blame is pointed at him. Which
that's what a lot of people do, because they all look at him and they say, okay, we've got a number 9 in, he's working very hard because he's putting all the energy into it, but he's not scoring goals. No, but if you don't get balls, then it's very difficult to score goals, is it? But that's the same for another side. If you look at Zirkzee first half yesterday, he found it very difficult in that position as well, you know, because then he gets that long ball and then he needs to fight with Gabriel or Saliba, and then it's very difficult to win these battles. And that's the same with Højlund at times as well, you know, because they play that ball up to him, and then he needs to, with the big centre backs, you know, he needs to fight, and you know, and sometimes he wins, but there's a big possibility that he's going to be losing these battles as well. And that's what you see. And it's difficult to hold that ball up if there's no support, you know, if people are not like supporting him or come underneath, or you can like play that little 1-2. So it's a difficult job to be a number 9 now for United, I think. And I think I still have the confidence, because when I see him, I see he's got great physique, he's got pace as well. You know, he's working very hard. He's putting all the effort in there as well, and that's normal, of course, for a player in every position to work very hard. We all understand that.
Yeah.
But I think he's got the ability to score as well, and he's proven that in other games as well. You know, in when Ten Hag was there, he's shown as well that he can score goals. So, but I think for him and for the other players, it's trying to find a way to get the best out of all the forwards, more or less.
I suppose it doesn't help his cause that, you know, Anthony left in January, Marcus Rashford left, so, you know, there's less wingers there. But do you feel like, why do so many Man United players struggle at the club, and then, you know, say like Anthony's gone to Betis, now he's thriving, Rashford's looked great at Aston Villa. Can you see a reason why players suddenly find their form as soon as they leave the club?
Well, the reason can be that there's too much pressure on them, maybe, that you know, because the demands for playing United is too much at times. It's too hard, and they want to prove themselves, and that's why they make it difficult at times for themselves as well to not get everything out of it. Having said that, you know, I think joining a club like United must be a privilege as well for a player. If you get into certain situations that you, for instance, for the wingers, if you have the opportunity to take players on in a 1v1, then you need to do that as well. Sometimes you see with Rashford as well, Anthony as well, they have that ball. You know, there's big spaces. They don't take up. Well, they don't take like the defender on. They go back, cut it back, go play that ball into midfield. They play second.
Jadon Sancho suffered from the same thing, didn't he?
Sancho as well, you know, and then there's always then you get like the question, okay, they're leaving the club, they go to a different team now, and for a couple of games they do well, but and a lot of people, they only look at it, okay, you know, for like 3-4 games they're doing well, man of the match or scoring goals or assists or whatever, but they need to keep it up for several seasons.
Yeah.
So it's hard to judge players now for like a couple of games, you know, because in the beginning, when it's new for every player, and you go somewhere, then they're all willing to run, you know, cover distances, to defend, to go forward, to trap back and create maybe, and it's all new. But you know, after a while, things will settle down, and the manager is going to be making choices, and then you need to wait and see in like, let's say 6 months, how the situation is then, and other players then still stepping up and still delivering, and can they still do it? And then after a while, because the opposition then is learning how these new players are playing as well. So, you know, everything is learning new things about these players. So they're going to be treated differently. They're going to defend differently against them as well after a while. And then you need to have a look, okay, what's the real situation with them?
So you think Anthony might burn out by the end of the season, possibly?
Well, no, I'm not saying that, you know, but that's in being a great player, or a very important player for a big team. It's about how you play in the beginning, but if the opposition is treating you in a different way or facing you in a different way and defensively as well, then you need to change yourself as well.
Adaptability.
To again step up, to adapt, and to perform again. And that's, you know, and if you can do that, then it means that you're like a real, you know, that you're a good player and you can go to the next level as well.
For sure. We saw before the game yesterday, there were quite big protests from the fans about the club ownership, you know, demanding that the club's been sold, which I don't think will happen. But, you know, there's been rumors as well that Kobbie Mainoo, they would be willing to sell him. Do you think the club, if they fail to qualify for the Champions League, maybe next year again, they'll be forced to sell some of their younger players like Garnacho, Kobbie Mainoo?
Well, to be honest, I cannot understand that if you have these players in your squad and they come through the academy, because I think the academies for United, it's massively important,
Mm.
because a lot of good players came from the academy, they made that step from the academy to the first team and then develop and being very important for the club. So I cannot understand as owners that you want to sell like very young players. And I'm not saying that they want to, but it's been, in the papers and I've read about it as well. But if you look at Kobe, and the potential that he has, that he can become a very good player, a very big player. So it would be a shame to see him go somewhere else and then develop over there and being very important for a different club in the world somewhere. That's a thing that I think as United you don't want to have. Same with Garnacho. Garnacho, he's already showed signs of being very important. He can still develop. You don't want to sell these players and then, going somewhere else and then making it difficult for yourself. And then you, as a club, as United, you need to search for players who've got more or less the same attributes and qualities that these players have that left the club. You don't want to do that, I think.
No, we saw that with Paul Pogba, obviously leaving the club, coming back, leaving again, and now I think his ban is about a week away from expiring. Do you think United could be tempted to bring him back, kind of as someone who could show Kobe Mainoo how to progress? And
well, yeah, if you look at Pogba, then he's been a great player,
yeah,
and that there's also when he was at United, there was a lot of people saying things about him as a player, what he needed to do and what he didn't do, and etc. And that comes with playing for United a little bit as well, because that's if you play for one of the biggest clubs in the world. But what was it? A couple of weeks ago, I've seen clips from when Pogba played at United with that team, and I can tell you he played some very good football as well. So, he's
brilliant football. Yeah,
he's been amazing on the ball and his quality, and what he can do, and he could really make a difference as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if a club like United again is like tempted maybe to ask him, if he would like maybe join for a while.
yeah, maybe because I mean,
There's always the if he can deliver or not, if he can still produce or whatever, but he's got so much experience, he had so much quality, and that's what we need. Well, that's what they need in Manchester, of course, in the team as well.
Yeah, for sure. A more open-ended question now, maybe. Who do you think has been United's player of the season so far? Is it hard to look past Bruno Fernandes?
No, I think that's that's Bruno and maybe Harry Maguire.
Okay, yeah.
Because I think if you look at Bruno is, of course, without a doubt, if somebody needs to score or can score, then he's the one who can do it.
Sure.
He can create as well. We've seen that yesterday as well, that he's involved in the most important things and during the games as well. There's a lot of things that we can say about him, in his leadership or whatever, but he is consistent in terms of being important, scoring, creating. He's taking the club, by the hand and saying, okay, or the team and saying, okay, we need to step up or we need to do different things. If you look at Maguire, then yeah, he had a very rough, difficult time at United, not being picked by managers on the bench. But every time he played, the majority of games, he's been very consistent in his performances and been very important for the club as well. And you can only praise him for staying at the club, through this difficult time. And then every time, coming on and being important and even scoring important goals at times that win them games.
It's Leicester. Yeah, Leicester in the FA Cup scored at the end, didn't he?
Yeah.
Great goal.
Yeah, so so these two are like for now probably the main players in that team that need to make that next step.
A word for Nasser Mazraoui as well. He's been asked to play different roles.
No, that's true. We forgot about him, and to be honest as well, in the beginning when he joined United, we wasn't sure about how it was going to work out for him in the Premier League, and the intensity of the Premier League, the physicality as well, and everything. But he's been doing an exceptional job as well for him. And not only because when he played on, for instance, as a wing back, but he played at a centre back, he played in the midfield at times, he played on the left, he played on the right. So it's been amazing how versatile he is, and in every position he can be very important. So it's praise to him, to be honest. It's been good, and well, it's a shame that he didn't score yesterday.
Yeah, he should have, perhaps could have. I think after the game, you and Peter Schmeichel were talking about goalkeepers quite a lot, and predominantly about David Raya. But Andre Onana was brought in by Erik ten Hag because his kicking was supposed to be, better than David De Gea. But yesterday he kicked, I think, 4 balls straight into touch, and the Arsenal fans were getting on his back and pressuring him. Do you think United need to look for a replacement goalkeeper in the summer, or do you think they will persist with Andre Onana?
I think they're going to get maybe some competition in for him.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you need as well. You need to have goalkeepers who are like very competitive. If I look at Andre yesterday, then he looks a bit insecure in how he plays now. I've seen him play very good games as well, and I know because I've worked with him at Ajax when he just came to Holland.
Okay.
And when I did the under-23s, he joined my team a lot of times because he wasn't ready yet for the first team. And I know how he is as a person. He's a very humble person. He's very open for comments and willing to learn. And he's making that progress. Mentally, he's strong. But yeah, sometimes it is difficult in certain situations because it depends as well what the manager wants. Ten Hag wants him to play out. Ten Hag wanted him to be confident on the ball, to keep that ball, to distribute it, to dribble forward out of the box at times as well, and then give that pass. Now it seems like he needs to kick it along a lot quicker. He's not as much involved anymore in the build-up play that what he did before. That makes him maybe insecure as well. And as a goalkeeper, it's very important if you have that ball on your feet that the defenders are set up in a way as well that you can always play that ball into him and midfield players as well, and especially second half or not only first or second half, the whole game yesterday. That wasn't really the issue because they tried it in the beginning of the game. After 15 or 20 minutes, they changed it. They went for these long balls that you said as well, and they meant to play that ball, to one part of the pitch, and then try to win that header and flick it on maybe, and a couple of balls went out of the pitch. So yeah, that makes him not confident at all at that time as well. But I still think that Andre is a very good goalkeeper. I still think he's got great reaction and everything. And yeah, he still maybe needs to learn or needs to make other decisions at times as well. But that's the same for every goalkeeper at this level.
He's still quite young for a goalkeeper as well. So maybe as he gets the experience, he'll still improve.
Yeah, but he's in a way a bit stubborn as well, and which is good as well. Sometimes you need to be that. But like
Peter Schmeichel was very stubborn, I'd imagine.
Pete was that when he was young, and he still is now. So that's true. So you need to be that a little bit as well. You need to be, and you need to be confident of your own thing as well, and what you can do and what you need to do. But of course, you need to be open for criticism at times as well. And I think Andre is he's always done that as well. He's always open for like a discussion and how you need to perform at times. And I think he's a good goalkeeper. But if you're playing in a team without confidence,
it's hard.
And it is for a goalkeeper very tough as well. And as well that if you're a goalkeeper and you're making a mistake, then the ball ends up in the back of the net, and then it's your fault most of the times. So that doesn't make it easier as well. So for a goalkeeper, it's I wouldn't say extra hard, but it doesn't make it easier to play games in a team that is underperforming at times.
Can I ask you a hypothetical question? Say from the Manchester United team that you played in, which player would most benefit the current team? If you could just take one and drop him straight in, who would you go for?
I would go for 2.
Okay.
And that would be Keane and Scholes.
Keane and Scholes, yep. Okay. Do you think midfield is where the current team is struggling the most?
Yeah, I think so, because you need to have players in the system and how they're playing now, especially on the 2 holding positions. You need to have players who've got quality on the ball, of course, who can be creative, and that's what you have with Scholesy. You need to have players who can run up and down the pitch. They need to press. They need to be able to tackle. Well, both of them can do that. Keane is a very good passer of the ball as well. Always wanted to have it in certain positions, and they've got leadership. So they can tell the other players around them as well and what to do in certain situations, and what to do to perform better. and I think that's what this team can help as well to perform better, to get better results.
And they bring goals as well. So yeah, all round, I think they would be hugely beneficial. That's maybe what United need to find is the next Roy Keane and the next Paul Scholes.
Yeah, and maybe with Mainoo, with Kobe, you can have one of them, that can learn and grow. And but all these young players, they also need to have experienced players next to them that can help them forward a little bit more as well. And that's what make it difficult in this team as well, because there's still quite a few young players, and every other more or less experienced player, sometimes he's struggling as well, or he's thinking about his own position at times as well.
Yeah.
And that makes it difficult. And when you're playing in a team who's like experienced and you're winning games and the confidence inside is high, it makes it easier to communicate with your teammates as well.
Yeah, for sure. Can I ask you one more hypothetical question?
Yeah.
Were you a boyhood Ajax fan?
Yes, I was. Yeah.
So say it might be slightly unrealistic, but if Ajax and Man United meet in the Europa League final, who are you supporting and who are you hoping?
That's going to be difficult, that one.
I thought so.
Yeah, no, I can't make that choice. Let's hope they do reach the final, and if you then ask me again, then I'll give you an answer.
Okay. Fair enough. Can we do a little quick fire question? I'll just name some players and you say whether you think they should be at Manchester United next year, because quite a lot of players are coming towards the end of their contract, and it's kind of time for maybe a big overhaul, kind of like a refresher. So we'll see what you think about Luke Shaw there next season or not.
No,
fair enough. Harry Maguire.
Can I also like then explain?
Yeah, you can explain. Yeah, go for it.
No, because I like Shaw very much as a player.
Yeah, he's had a great career. He's been there 10 years, hasn't he?
Yeah, but you need to have a look at in these 10 years the amount of games that he played.
Yes.
And that's why I made my choice in terms of not saying no, because you need to have consistency in your squad as well. You need to have players who can deliver week in, week out. And unfortunately for him, he's been injured a lot, and you can't really trust him in terms of being there and playing games.
Yeah.
So then as a team, as a squad, you need to sometimes make choices as well, and then bring other players in.
Yeah, I think it's time for him. Casemiro?
No,
No,
because great player. He was in his prime. Won a lot of trophies, more than I have. So it's not easy to judge somebody like that. But being important for United as well, and especially in this system, not the easiest role for him to play in as one of the holding midfield players.
Yeah, very difficult role for him in the team. Diogo Dalot, been a good player, but
I like Dalot. I like him very much, and I think he improved when he was at Ten Hag. Playing now as a left wing back and right wing back, it doesn't do him good in confidence, I think. You can see sometimes that he's struggling a bit in taking on what position, when to step out, when to cover, how to take up your positions, when to cross or when to cut it back or when to keep possession. But I think in general, I would keep him. I think he's a good player.
Yeah, I think so as well. Harry Maguire, I'd imagine you're going to say should remain at the club after you praised him earlier.
I think he needs to stay, because even if the manager is not picking him maybe in the starting 11, I think he's very important for the rest of the team, for the experience, especially if you want to eventually work with a lot of young players, then you need to have experienced players in your squad that can help these young players.
Yeah, very true. I don't know if you saw the speculation. I'm not sure how much truth there is to it, but Jean-Philippe Mateta, Crystal Palace striker, he's injured now, but apparently Man United are considering making a bid for him. Do you think he's something that you'd want to see at the club and would strengthen the forward line?
He could. He fits in the system, because I think at Palace they play with 3 at the back as well.
That's true. Yeah, I think so.
So that's why he could fit in that system. Still, he is also he depends on the balls as well that he gets.
Yeah.
It looks like at Palace they're a bit more focused on him at times as well, in giving him these balls in there as well, so he can be very decisive in his finishing as well. Yeah, I can see why they maybe talk about that. On the other hand, I need to say, is he really the player, the number 9 that is going to be bringing United back to the highest level?
Yeah,
that's a big question mark for myself.
It's tough to see United fans getting excited by that signing, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is true. You know, with all due respect for him, you know, he's doing very well for Palace. You know, and you know, he's doing great in scoring and being important. So that's good. So then, you know, if you do that, then there's of course, you know, talks about him maybe going somewhere else. You can say the same about Chris Wood, maybe. You know, for Forest, you know, he's been scoring goals as well. He could fit in that system as well.
Yeah.
But is he also like the player that's going to bring United to the next level? That's a big question mark for myself.
Yeah. How would you assess Ruben Amorim's time in charge so far in terms of, you know, it's only been what, 24 games, 26 games, so yeah. It's still early, but overall,
difficult. It's been difficult for him because from what I've read and heard, he's more or less being pushed in this role to take the job instead of waiting till the end of the season, stepping in now, and then you can understand that as a young manager, yeah, you want to take it, you want to take the opportunity and do that, but he knows as well that he came joining a team that played in a total different way than he wants to play. So he knew that he probably didn't have the players to do that, or maybe thought, okay, maybe these players can do it, but eventually seeing in training sessions and during games that they find it very hard to do so. And then you get the results that they had like now. That means that, you know, they're up till now, they're not good enough yet to make that progress that he wants to see, and that makes it difficult. And then you get a lot of discussions, of course, as well about the amount of games that he's lost as well. Not always playing very confident. So that's why it's difficult for him. But we need to, and I think as well, you know, and I do that as well. I know that as well as a manager, that, you know, it all depends with the material that you have as well to work with the players. And you need to give him time to bring in his own players that he needs, and then you can really judge him in how he's doing.
Yeah, hopefully in the summer he'll get that chance. But in a more immediate future, obviously the second leg of the Europa League against Sociedad on Thursday. How do you think he'll approach that? And do you predict that they will progress and into the next round? What do you think?
I think they can beat them. I think Sociedad, they got a good team, a nice team as well. But you know, that's why they're in this tie as well. But I still think that United has got better players, so I still think they can beat Sociedad. And you know, the main focus needs to be on there as well, because, you know, if they make it to the final and if they win it, then, well, we all know what's going to happen then, where they are. So that's why, you know, that's why it's so important for them to focus on this game and to get a result out of it to get to the next round. And I'm sure that they're doing everything what they can, you know, to get the focus in there.
For sure. Let's have a quick word about Ajax and, you know, the conveyor belt of incredible young players that seem to come through. The latest one, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, Joel Hato, you know, great player, young player, centre back, and he can play on the left, I think, as well. Do you see him?
Are you still there? Hello?
Yeah, he's there.
Sorry, Jaap. I don't know what happened.
There you are.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, sorry about that. We were just talking about Joel Hato there. I mean, great talent. Do you see him as a kind of Virgil van Dijk style or a Jurrien Timber, or I don't know how much you know about him really?
No, he's a very talented player. You know, he's a good player. Now he's playing a lot of games as a left back. I prefer to see him as a centre back because I think he's very confident on the ball, and we all from Holland, we all want our centre backs, you know, to drive into the midfield, to be like an extra man at times, or to be creative. You know, that helps you play especially in the system that we like to play in a 4-3-3 in Holland. But yeah, he's got pace as well. You know, he's very, like I said, very confident. Play centre back, play left back, maybe even left wing back, where he can play as well. You know, he's not the tallest of players. He's a bit, I think, similar size as Timber is from Arsenal. You know, but also strong and you know, a very promising player. And you know, if he keeps on going like this, then he's probably within I don't know, maybe after this season or maybe the next season, then he can make a transfer himself as well. I don't see you anymore, so I don't know what's happening. There you are again.
I don't know what's happening. It's never happened before, but we'll
no,
just.
no problem.
But yeah, do you think I mean, obviously Ajax will want to keep hold of him as long as they can, but eventually the big money offers might come from the Premier League.
Yeah, at Ajax, at Ajax they're realistic as well. They all know that they want to bring players from the academy as well, like United did as well. To the first team, and in Holland, yeah, hopefully we can enjoy them for like a couple of seasons in the first team, and then they all know if he's doing well, they're making progress. Then there's a big club coming and they want to sign him and take him away. And yeah, Ajax probably is trying then to say, okay, you need to stay, but they also know that if there's a big club and there's big fees on the table, then they would say, okay, then he needs to go, or the player himself is going to be saying that I need to leave, I want to go to a different league.
I've seen him linked with Liverpool and Arsenal in the press. Do you think either of those would suit him better? Do you think Liverpool would be a better option?
Well, I don't know how Slot now is thinking about Robertson, and for next season, and what's your other Tsimikas is it who's there as well? So I can in a way I can understand that they think about him on that position. They also at Liverpool think about Kerkez probably from Bournemouth. I think that I read that somewhere as well. Okay. Could be interesting as well, but Hato, yeah, could be interesting for that position. Arsenal could be interested, I think, as well. If Timber plays on the right side and Hato can play on the left side as well.
Yeah,
it could be an interesting couple as well. At either side. So yeah,
definite options.
And both styles or both clubs, in how they play, they suit Hato as well.
For sure. Another player who's having a great season in the Eredivisie is I might not be saying this right, Sem Stein.
Yeah, Sam Stein. Yeah,
Sam Stein is scoring a lot of goals for FC 20. I think he's extended his contract, but obviously Brighton and Leeds are interested in him. Do you think he could make the transfer to the Premier League and continue to excel over there?
Yeah, well there's a lot of people that we with us in Holland, when we talk about players, that sometimes they say about certain players, well, we're not sure if you can go and make that next step to a different league and a certain level. But every time players keep surprising us as well, when they go to a big league like the Premier League and then they step up and show themselves. We've got loads of examples in the Premier League now as well.
Yeah,
I think Stein is. He's a very talented. He's a very good player. For Twente, he's been very important. And one thing's for sure, that he keeps on going. He's got that instinct as well in turning up in certain positions to be effective, to score goals or create opportunities. He's got a lot of energy in him as well. In the press, but also in running in behind, taking up smart positions in between lines as well. So yeah, I can see why clubs are looking at him to maybe try to bring him into the club.
Yeah,
he's been very effective in Holland. He made that step from a smaller club to Twente. He showed himself. He's proven himself at Twente, also in a higher level, European level as well. And that's very good as well for him to see. So no, it's good.
In terms of the title race in the Netherlands, I think Ajax are 8 points ahead, or they were ahead before the weekend. Do you think they'll be able to keep their cool and keep PSV behind them, or do you think there's still more twists and turns to come?
If I look at Ajax now and how they are, then I would say they're gonna make it until the end.
Yeah.
I think PSV now is the squad with the most individual quality. Eindhoven, if you look at them, you wouldn't say that when they played Arsenal, but it's
yeah, that was a bad night.
But if you're looking in the Dutch league, in how their team has been built, how it's set up, then they've got the most individual quality. But Ajax has been very solid, and normally from Ajax we expect them to play in a certain way of being very attractive, dominant, etc., and how they need to play. But with this new coach, it's not always attractive in how they play. But it's been very solid. They create, they score, they keep clean sheets. They don't give a lot of opportunities away, and that's how he wants to play, and that's what they've been doing. And now having this lead, it gives the players, the team, a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
So I can't see them giving it away, to be honest.
Well, we'll see. It'll be the first time they've won the league in 3 or 4 years, isn't it? So yeah,
Yeah, because and even last season they had a very difficult time because last season when they started with a different manager, I
that's
think
right.
eventually they were like I don't know 15 or 16 in the league.
Yeah.
They were really struggling, and and after that they made a small step, but the manager left, a different manager came in, and it was like a bit of like okay, let's get through this season, and then we need to make some changes. That's what they've done now this season, and still the football is not very like attractive in being very very nice to look at, but it's effective, and
It's working
it brings them to the top of the league.
for sure. A quick change of tack. We talk about Rangers in Scotland. I think it's a club that you've talked about how much you'd love to manage them. Same as Celtic. I mean, I think you had the chance to play for them when you were younger, but you didn't. I think they're still looking for a manager at the moment after sacking Philippe Clement. So, have you put your name forward, or would you like to be considered?
No. I haven't put my name forward. No, they hopefully somewhere there in the UK they still know that I want to go maybe in management if the club's right.
Yeah.
But,
Sure, for sure.
no, but Rangers and Scotland is it's a beautiful country as well. Great league, not a big league but a great league. Celtic and Rangers, two absolute top teams.
Yeah.
So it's always nice if you can work for one of these clubs, of course, as well. And Rangers, they've got a history with a lot of Dutch people, players and managers as well, of course.
Very true.
So that's why it would be nice as well. And when Advocaat was my manager at PSV, and then he went to Rangers at that time as well.
Yeah,
the same season that I went to United, and then Advocaat asked me to join Rangers at that time as well. And then I said, well, sorry, I've got a different club where I'm going to go to.
Yeah, I think maybe
he wasn't too happy about that. But, so I had the opportunity as well to go to them.
Yeah.
And then the year before, or a couple of years before, I had the opportunity to go to Celtic. They were interested. But, it's these are clubs that's always because of the history as well of the clubs and everything. And, it always makes it interesting to work for them because they also have something within their DNA, or how you want to say it, in their structure, that they always want to make progress. They always want to do well in their league, but also in Europe, and that makes it attractive for a lot of managers.
That's very true. Do you think they could try and tempt Steven Gerrard back for a second spell at the club? I know he's out in Saudi Arabia now, but he was very successful there. He managed to finally break the deadlock of Celtic winning 9 in a row. So could be.
Well, they could do. Sometimes it's good that, especially when you need to finish the season. Sometimes it's good to bring somebody back in that knows the club.
Yeah.
That maybe knows a part of the players or people who are working within the club. I think he's well respected with probably a lot of people over there and fans as well. So that could be a reason why to bring him back eventually, and then maybe see to next season, okay, how it worked out and if they need to keep on going with him. But yeah, because picking somebody else with total different ideas again or new ideas makes it hard to do it, within the season. So sometimes that's why it's better sometimes to take somebody who's already now, for instance, like Moyes at Everton.
Yeah, working so well.
He knows the club, he knows the people, the fans, he knows them very well, and he's been doing very well. So that could be an idea.
Interesting. Another club that you played for with incredible heritage, AC Milan.
Yeah,
hasn't been a great season for them, but maybe looking forward to next season. Tierney Reina's signed a new contract. They've got some good players, some good English players.
Yeah,
they seem to be struggling to gel a little bit at the moment. Do you think they've been knocked out of the Champions League, struggling in Serie A? Where do you think they go from here?
Well, I think they keep on building, and that's what they've done. With bringing the English players in, with Reinders coming in as well. Some other player they got what's his name from Feyenoord, the striker, joined them now as well in January.
Yeah, he scored against them, didn't he? Scored in the Champions League.
Yeah. So and that's a good thing. When I was at AC Milan, they only bought players who've been performing at the highest level to every time compete, with for winning the league and in the Champions League. But now they went, different owners, the club's been sold, different owners. The money is not anymore there that how it was like years and years and years ago. Now it's difficult. They still spend money, of course, but they're more how do you say, inventive in how to spend their money, in bringing good players in, sometimes a bit younger players,
Yeah.
But players who are like not being at the highest level, but play for teams doing very well at their club, and then bringing them in to eventually make that step to a higher level. And that's what they've been doing now. And sometimes that takes time, yeah, because I think last season they did well, and then this season sometimes they're struggling a bit, and that's how it goes in building a team as well. So you need to have patience, and of course they want to go, and win the league as well. But yeah, we all know how it goes in football.
That's it. It's a steady process. So we'll see.
Yeah, no, it's about pick or choose your plays at times. In okay, we're going to keep him, we're going to bring him in, or we need to offload him maybe, and making choices and looking at positions as well, and what's the best what's the best player in what position to eventually make that step forward.
That's right. There's in terms of kind of discipline and the way the game is refereed these days, I think there's a famous clip of you when you're at Lazio with Pietro Parente grabbing him.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That one always does the rounds on Twitter, and it's great. But I don't think you got booked. I don't think anyone got booked, and it was just kind of carry on. It's just one of those things. But these days, referees are very quick to get out the red card, and we see games with 10 men so often. Do you think it spoils the game? And you'd rather see a bit more leniency?
Yeah, sometimes it does. But is that maybe because of the importance of the game that everybody needs to have a look at it, and decisions need to be very clear before they do something.
Yeah.
But I don't know the right word for it, but it takes away a lot of things from the game. Instead of when you're scoring, you need to wait 5 minutes before they say, okay, it's a goal.
Yeah.
So, so as a player, when you score, you just wait, okay, can I cheer now? But after these couple of minutes that you're waiting, it's no use in cheering anymore, is it? The high of scoring a goal is gone at that time. And sometimes when there's a little bust up on the pitch as well, people are with cameras, they're watching, they're looking at what's happening. And yeah, in every solution, you can find probably something, and something you also need to have. Referees also need to have a little bit of the freedom of saying, okay, this is it, okay, we keep on going.
Yeah.
If it's a very, very clear decision and the referee is like making a wrong decision about that, then they should call him back and then say, okay, listen up, this is not good. You need to have a look at it again and to reevaluate and then make your decision.
Yeah, I think hopefully it will kind of keep improving, and maybe one day we'll actually get it right.
Well, the thing is that, a couple of years ago, they were talking about speeding up the game.
Yeah, but it's it's
slowing down, is it?
Yeah, hugely. Yeah,
in what they're doing. So it doesn't make it attractive anymore.
Can I ask you a quick question about Reading? I mean, obviously your time at Reading in management, you had the highs, and then you're so close to success in the playoff final. Since leaving, I think now De Jong's ownership is nearly at an end. Has it been painful kind of watching what's happened to the club since you've left?
Well, I to be honest, I can say that I loved the club when I worked there, and I still follow them very much, because I had a great time over there, working over there. I got the opportunity to work over there, to work in the championship, which is a great competition. I really love that. Reading was a great club for myself and my family as well. We enjoyed working over there with the players that we had, and we had success. We turned things around over there and how it was. And then unfortunately, okay, you don't make it to the Premier League, which is a shame. Then you go into a second season, like you're saying. And then, already months before, you talk about what you need to do or what people need to bring in to, again, do the same thing or get close to doing the same thing. And then, it's difficult for the owners as well to bring certain players in to make that next step, and then you can't make it, and then towards the end of the season, you talk about it, and then we came to the conclusion that it was better for us to part ways, and that's how the decision being made. We made it together at that time, but it's I feel not bad, but I feel sorry that, of course, that you need to leave, but I feel sorry that it went with the club like that they went all the way down to League One.
Yeah.
And, because I think it's a great club, they have great fans. The area where the club is, it's great as well. And I really think that with this club, you could make something beautiful out of it, to be honest, but that's not what happened. And I think that's a shame. And, because I said, there's a lot of times when we spoke about it, when we see them play and things are not going well, they say, would you like to go back? I said, yeah, if the opportunity was ever there, I would love to go back and work for them again if they would have me. Yeah. But we all know how it works in football. You know,
Have to maybe wait, maybe a new ownership and a whole change, and maybe
yeah, no, we don't count on it, but it's yeah, you know, it's how it is. It's really a club that I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed working for them.
it was a good time for the club and a good time for you, I'm sure.
Yeah.
A quick question about the Netherlands national team, just before we let you go. I think they're playing Spain twice at the end of the month in the Nations League. You know, a game with a lot of history, the World Cup final, and how would you rate the current Netherlands selection and the team and the squads compared to kind of that golden generation of Van Persie, Schneider, Ian Robben?
Yeah.
The potential to get back up to those levels?
Well, at that time we had a lot of choices, attacking wise,
Yeah,
quality. Now we have a lot of choices defensively.
that's true. It's true.
Because
Yeah.
we have a lot of quality defenders now in the national team, and yeah, you need to have a mixture of both, of course, you know, and but that's how it goes in generations, you know, and at times as well. So you know, our national team is okay, to be honest. We've got quality players in there. But at times we're also lacking some quality, and I think at times, especially at the front, we need to have players that hopefully can be a bit more decisive. But we also have players who changed leagues as well. Marlon, he came to Villa.
Okay.
Marlon, you know, came from Dortmund. He's been doing very well over there. He went to Villa, not always playing over there, you know, but being important for the national team. You know,
Memphis Depay, are you surprised?
He's probably coming back now in the
Yeah.
national team. You know, he went to Brazil. He's playing
Yeah.
in Brazil. Yeah, you know, there's been a lot of talks about him now, you know, from being a player in Brazil. Does he need to join with the national team now? Is that the right choice? But like I said, you know, if a manager is confident in him, and if you don't have too many other choices, you need to, you know, you need to pick certain players that maybe can help you out in winning games. But yeah, you know, so we would like to have some more players up front.
Yeah, I think that's
Bring
if
that.
we combine those two teams, that'd be the ideal scenario, wouldn't
That
it?
would be very good. Yeah, no, exactly.
In terms of your career, and obviously, you know, you won loads of trophies and you played with some amazing players. If you could narrow it down to like the best defender that you ever played alongside, who would you go for?
Oh, alongside. Well, that's you know, I played with United at United. I played, of course, with Ronnie Johnson. You know, and we had a great partnership together. You know, we without talking, we knew what we were going to do and what the other one was going to do. And
Telepathy.
yeah, that's what you need at times. Coaching is important, but you also need to have that feeling with each other. But in Italy, of course, I played with Nesta and I played with Maldini. You know, as a pair, as a centre backs and as a full backs as well. You know, and these two are like Cafu on the right as well. You know, so
amazing.
So we had a great team and a great defense over there as well. But even if you look at United, Gary Neville, Dennis Irwin, they were world class as well. So it's difficult to pick one. But if I need to pick one, and then not because of his well, of course he's got quality, but also because of in what he's done from a young age all the way till the end of his career. That's Maldini. That's Paolo Maldini.
Yeah.
Because you know he started very young in the first team of Milan, and then you know the career that he had, and even through all these years, all the players that he played with, and how humble he stayed as a player. It's good to see that you know these professionals are also very good human beings, and that's been for me a privilege to play with as well.
What a career he had, still playing when he was nearly 40 as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, no, he was amazing, an amazing player.
All right, well, Jaap Stam, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure for me to talk to you, and great insight into United. Let's see where it goes for them for the rest of the season.